won't be long now. The Jefferson Health Training Complex will be the center of the Philly sports scene. In a month's time, Eagles training camp about a month away. Football is almost here, baby. Hey, good to see you. Welcome in to Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Danny Pommel's and Barrett Brooks here with you. And Barrett, we still have a month to go, but football is getting closer day by day.
It's right around the corner, man. I can't wait till I can go out there in that hot sun, sitting out there watching, getting ready for the season. This is what it's all about. Going into, watching them practice, knowing I don't have to do it anymore. Camp days, no dog camp days. I'm glad I'm retired right now, except on payday when they go get paid. But other than that, watching them in camp, seeing how they're going to, implement this new offense, seeing how Riq Woolen fits in with the defense. This is going to be a great time for me in training camp come a month from now.
Riq Woolen, a little foreshadowing to later in the show, but let's get into our three-point stance presented by Toyota. Stance number one, without A.J. Brown now, the focus on this offense is going to be squarely on QB1, Mr. Jalen Hurts, this coming season as he quarterbacks yet another new offense, Barrett. Do you think the pressure is something Hurts thrives on?
Absolutely. Pressure bursts pipes, and he's ready to go out there and make sure that he's not unwavering as far as that. Jalen, this is what he lives for. He loves the people to doubt him. He loves for people to say, all right, you're not going to be able to do this. That's why he keeps receipts. He's going to make sure he's going to be the best version of himself he can be. And I tell you what, my big word for him is going to this camp is total command. He's got to have total command of the offense. He's got to know what's going on every route, because it's going to be a little different from what he's used to. This is not the same offense that he's ran with, Coach Sirianni the past couple of years. He had to learn a lot, a lot as far as timing, with the offensive line, timing with receivers, timing with tight ends, timing in the running game, understanding, he's got to turn his back to the defense. He's got to rely on those guys making it to their spots and, the timing of getting to those spots and when the ball needs to be released. Time as far as, how he needs to, implement motions. When a motion goes by, when does he, make sure he hikes the ball? You got to get all this timing ready. He's got to understand that this offensive line has a new way they're blocking. Play action is a lot different from what they did before. They used to drop back all the time. Those tackles be off by themselves, and the interior guys really took over how the blitz came. So those are all different. You got a different way of looking at things when you're doing things from under center. I mean, at the time, coming out of, from underneath center, dropping back, when he's supposed to come up 3-step, 5-step, 7-step. It's a little bit easier when you're back there already from the shotgun position. But when you're underneath center, you're in play action, trying to fake the run and all that stuff. It's all about having total command of this offense. He's got to make it happen, and he's motivated from this. I'm telling you, man, this is exactly what Jalen Hurts wants.
Okay.
It's been like this since I first heard about him in Alabama. Then he goes to Oklahoma. And then when he got here, he's going to keep receipts and say, hey, I told you who I am. I told you what I can do. I told you I'm going to make this offense work. Now we're going to a higher place. Let's go make it happen. I'm saying they're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to be a competitor in the playoffs. Let's go, man. It's time to get ready.
Do you think there's a chance we might see more of Hurts in the preseason because of the new offense?
Absolutely not. They're not going to break that. No, we won't see No, we won't see any of the starters. That's going to stay status quo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not doing that.
Joint practices will cover that.
They'll get all their work in joint practices. They'll get all their work, inside, where they practice at. They're not going to play in the preseason. That's just not what they do. No.
All right, our second stance as we dive in here, the rookies need to be ready. In particular, we've seen injuries across the offensive line over the last year or two, Barrett. So a guy like third-round pick Markel Bell should be prepared to potentially help fill a void if needed. Bell is a large human, and he'll be joining fellow Giant Jordan Mailata in the offensive line meetings. And Bell talked with John Clark for the latest Takeoff podcast today from his Boys and Girls Club event at Great Wolf Lodge, and he discussed the size comparison between him and Mailata.
Jordan is huge. Like when he walk in the door, he got to turn sideways, man. So I'm a little bit taller than him, but man, Jordan like a refrigerator, man. He's just big, he's just wide, man. But no, my first time meeting Jordan, he was like, man, you're a big guy with his Australian accent. He was like, man, you're a big guy. And so, man, no, it was good.
Bell is 6'9", Mailata is 6'8", and here is Bell at the Boys and Girls Club event today, having some fun with the youngsters. So Barrett's size is great, particularly at that position, but Bell and the other linemen who make the rotation here after training camp need to be ready if called upon.
No question, and me, comparing that size, he's just saying, if, in all actuality, Jordan Mailata is NFL ready. Mm-hmm. Big Bell, he has to get his NFL body ready to go, and that's it. Right now, he got a little baby fat. He got to get in the weight room a little bit, get some muscle, get built up to be an NFL pro. Right now, he's not ready for that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, but in saying that, he's gonna have to be ready for that because I really believe that they like him, and the way they played him in camp, that he might be out there a lot more than, I would think. Yes, we have, Fred. Fred Johnson's a great player. He backs up both tackles. But I think there might be situations where they might start Bell, getting him ready for, the upcoming seasons where he might be a guy that's going to be a starter later on, what if something happens, So he might get some reps. So he has to be ready. He has to know that offense. He's got to make sure that he's, able to go in at the drop of a dime. Because you never know who's going to get hurt, how they're going to hurt, or anything else. He's got to be able to come in and play like he's a starter. So he's going to have to be ready. I also think that, when you look at this offensive line, there's a lot of guys that might play. I'm looking at Micah Morris. Micah Morris, he needs to make sure he's ready also. We don't have a lot of interior help at the guard position and the center position. I'm looking at the roster, and I'm like, we don't have Brett Toth anymore. He's gone. So Brett Toth played guard and center. We don't have really that guy that we can do that right now, not that I've seen. And I'm looking through it, we got Willie Lampkin. He can play center, but I think he's just a center. But then I look at, guys that do it. Kendall Drew, maybe he plays center and guard. But there's not a lot of flexibility on who can come in and be that starter if one of those guys come down. And the likelihood of, Dickerson may have a problem, or maybe even Lane or
Cam Jurgens.
And I'm not speaking that, Cam. Yeah, I'm not speaking that to existence. There's no way that I'm saying these guys are going to be hurt. They're going to play well, but I'm just saying but.
Yeah, just in case. Got to be ready. All right, let's get to our third stance. USA Today released their rankings of the top offensive lines in the NFL, and the Eagles checked in at number 1. So our final stance, the Eagles could once again, Barrett, have the best offensive line in football. So, B, this is your bread and butter, of course. Why is this line so good when healthy year after year?
Because this offensive line holds top 5 guys at 4 positions, on this offensive line. So top 5 of 4 positions at the offensive line. Come on now. Mm-hmm. I mean, these guys are really, really good. Cam Jurgens, Pro Bowler last year. Lane Johnson, we know he's a Pro Bowler when he's healthy. All Pro when he's healthy. Jordan Mailata's been All Pro. I think you can't look past how good they've been. Landon Dickerson has also been a Pro Bowler. I mean, these guys are dominant players when healthy. When healthy, they're the best in the business. And I like the way Tyler Steen has, progressed to becoming a really good player also. You really didn't hear his name a lot. Well, as an offensive lineman, that's good. You didn't hear anything glaring, that he's out there, just mauling people, but he was very consistent, just what you need from an offensive lineman. I think he takes a step this year in becoming one of those dominant offensive linemen. And he's going to be showcased a little bit because he's going to have guys around him, hopefully healthy, that can really, make him a better player also. So when you have 4 positions that are, Pro Bowlers and All Pro, yeah, you're going to be one of the top offensive lines in the NFL. And I'm not surprised that they're number 1 right now because healthy, they have been for a long time one of the number 1 offensive lines in the NFL.
Hey, we're back on Birds Huddle with our top 25 countdown, which has now reached the top 15. Let's take a look at the list up until this point. Here are the names we've already discussed. We're up to number 14 today. Yesterday, we talked about rookie Mekhi Lemon here. Today, it is Riq Woolen of the top 25 most important Eagles for the upcoming season. He was brought in to shore up that second cornerback slot opposite Quinyon Mitchell-Barrett. Why is Woolen so important to this defense?
Because, it's important for me, number 1, because every time that ball was thrown in the air last time, like, oh, is that Quinyon? No, it's not Quinyon. Oh, no, who's that guy over there? That second cornerback position was like, oh, my goodness. It was a thorn in my soul, at this point, I was like, I was taking so many antacids, because I'm like, man, my stomach can't take this. Because every time the ball went up, I just didn't have anybody, that could really go out there and be that lockdown guy. Well,
Barry, Jacorian Bennett is outside. He wants to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, I can talk to him. Yeah, we can talk. But I'm just saying, Riq Woolen, I mean, come on, man. I love this guy, when he came out, and I think he was 22, 23, around that time. And, I call games in college football. And I can remember calling two games for him. And I'm like, man, it's a big corner that's quick and he's fast. And I was like, bam, let's see where he's going to, end up going. I wanted the Eagles to take him, but Seattle took him. And then at the combine, he's 6'4", ran, a 4.26. That's in the wind at 210 pounds. So he has everything you want from athleticism, everything you want from having the measurables to be a great player. And in his rookie year, he was that guy. He was that, that standout player, had 6 interceptions. He was a Pro Bowler. But after that, it kind of slowed down a little bit because people stopped throwing at him. Well, last year, he kind of got almost benched a little bit and didn't play a lot because, they liked some guys that they brought in and, he kind of got pushed to the side. But he still has the athleticism to go out there and be a great, great cornerback, and be a number 1 cornerback, and I can't wait to see this guy going into next year in this Vic Fangio defense.
Yeah, this could be an opportunity for him to get paid if he plays well this year. Let's look at some notes on Woolen. And when you put Woolen out there with the likes of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean Barrett, all of a sudden, you're looking at a pretty stout secondary.
Oh, no question. I mean, look at it. 12 interceptions in 4 years. The guy can play, and he has the perfect time. I thought, usually when you have a guy with size, a guy 6'4", 210, usually they're kind of, wonky looking. They're not really quick guys who go out there and really play DB. But, hey, I was so impressed on how this guy moved, how his feet move. Usually, shorter guys have the quicker feet, but he has quick feet, and he has straight inline speed. I saw so many times where he just baited quarterbacks into throwing to his side and was able to go out there and knock the ball down or maybe intercept it because he's so fast. He's kind of trailing the wide receiver, and all of a sudden, as soon as the ball's in the air, he speeds up and able to knock it down. He's that type of player. He's going to be a special player. A lot of people don't want to throw to Quinyon's side. Yeah. Now pick your poison. Now you're going to throw to a DB that big and that explosive. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks going to look to say, all right, where am I going to go with the ball? Then you can't go to the slide. You got Cooper DeJean there. It's going to be tough for quarterbacks to really try to see, where they're going to throw the ball this year when you have 3 guys like that to that caliber.
Earlier in the offseason, Riq Woolen spoke about what made him want to come to Philly and what intrigued him about this Eagles defense. We turn to the experts presented by Carrier.
Another opportunity, a great chance to play with a great team. A lot of similarities that I have with the Seahawks. Great defensive line, great linebackers. There's all-around great culture and great team and organization. You got Q, you got Coop, and with me being able to join those guys, I know that we can be able to play different types of looks, and I felt like that's kind of the same way in Seattle. We had Spoon, we had Nick, and we would be able to play different ways. So to be able to be along those guys and to play with a great front with Carter and JD and, some great linebacker play, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Kind of flattering there, Barrett. A lot of comparisons there to Seattle. Not bad since they won the Super Bowl last season.
Absolutely, but, look at it. Campbell, young guy, but I think he's going to be a really good linebacker. We already know we're going to get from the other guy. Zach Bond's going to be that guy. But this defensive line, the way they're going to rush the passer, it's going to make things a lot easier in that back end. And plus, you already got guys that can cover like that. It's going to be hard, it's going to be hard sledding for a lot of quarterbacks in the league, It's going to be really, really hard to try to pick this defense apart because, they're stacked at just about every level. Defensive line can generate pressure. Even the interior guys can generate pressure on a quarterback. Then the linebackers work so well blitzing and dropping back in covers. And then the secondary, you got 3, we got a tandem of guys right now that may be the best in the NFL. So, yeah, it's going to be really hard for offenses to really pick this defense.